build an online presence and a digital presence beyond your CV or resume. I think Quora and LinkedIn stand out as two very strong professional networking platforms wherein you can hold your ground and build that authority for yourself even before somebody coming in and telling you this is an opportunity. You can create opportunities for yourself. Rather than concentrating on which university to pick first and which country to pick first, I feel the course of the program should be researched on first.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again to our Study Abroad podcast series powered by Great Learning. Today, we have another extremely relevant and interesting topic for all of you who are looking forward to move to US or any other country for that matter, for studying and then having a career ahead. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about how should you be navigating your job search post your master's degree in the US. And to talk about this and sharing insights, I have an extremely relevant guest today. That is Dhairya Gandwani. Welcome, Dhairya. Thank you so much for joining us. A little bit about Dhairya. So Dhairya herself is an engineering graduate and she turned into a management consultant post that. She has gained work experience, but right now she's working as a full-time career coach and content creator. So Dhairya has helped over 5,000 students and working professionals navigate their career trajectory and achieving their career goals. Recently, Dhairya has also been recognized as one amongst the top 25 education and career content creators by Unstop. It was in May. So once again, Dhairya, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Shweta. Thank you so much for this lovely introduction. And I'm very, very excited to be getting into this conversation. It's always very delightful to be talking about job search strategies and tips and how students who actually go ahead and, pursue their masters, whether it's an MBA or an MS outside of India, can really look at the situation of landing their dream jobs. So I can't wait to get into the conversation.
And let's get into it. So Dhairya, why don't you tell us more about, what exactly this career coaching and mentoring involves? What kind of students do you help? If these are working professionals as well as freshers, so what kind of experience these working professionals have? What are their queries? I'm extremely curious about knowing all about that.
Sure. I think it's a great question to start the conversation with. I feel that over the past 3 years, what I've realized is that there are three stark categories of people who come to me for mentorship or guidance and help. And the first category is freshers. They could have pursued an undergrad or a postgrad degree, both from India or outside of India. And they need help with navigating through the job market and, college to corporate transitioning. So that's their major worry. That's one category of folks. So they need help with choosing the right career path, landing their first job, building a resume, an online presence, all of that. So the problems I'm catering to are the same, but there are three different target audiences, to put it that way. The second category of people are, I would say, entry level to mid senior level professionals who are folks who have about, let's say, 3 to 10 years of experience. And they have been working in different departments and different companies, but they are necessarily worried with what to do ahead in their career and what next step they should take, or how they can improvise on their resume if they want to do a job switch and apply to a new job, right? So those are the second set of folks. And I think the third set are the trickiest ones, but also the most fun to work with. These are people who have more than 15 years of experience. They're seasoned professionals who have worked across different companies and obviously have a lot more experience than I will be able to gather probably. But what's interesting is that they're still at a juncture where they realize that now that I've done something for 15 years, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to pivot and do something very different. And now I want to know what are the steps I should necessarily take to move to it. Or these are professionals who have worked for 15 to 20 years in the corporate, now want to start something of their own, hence want to build a digital presence or their LinkedIn profile or personal brand on LinkedIn, and they need my help. So those are the three categories of people that I help out.
So talking about this category of people, Dhairya, how do you help them, or what kind of suggestions do you share with, people with 15 years of experience? How will they be able to pivot? And especially if they are trying to learn new stuff and, still deliver or contribute to their current organization or look for another job opportunity.
Yeah, sure. I think, see, when it comes to seasoned professionals and people who have a certain, I would say, experience that they come with in the industry, uh, it's more to do with them becoming more agile and adaptable to technology and understanding what the changing times have brought it, more than actually telling them how to adapt to a company culture, lead teams, or manage people, because they've done so in 15 to 20 years. So I don't need to necessarily come in and tell them that these are the skill sets you will have to build to be able to pivot to a new job in a new sector. Or as an HR and moving into data analytics, what they struggle with is, um, if I did something in the HR space, which was purely more managerial and functional, and data analytics is more technical, requires more hard skills per se, number one, how will I bridge that gap? And at this age, at this stage in my career, do I have it in me to be able to do that and to go through that technological shift and upskill myself and learn and unlearn? That's the major obstacle. Second thing is, if that can be done now, how do I show it on my profile, which is my resume and my LinkedIn profile, and during my answers at an interview, that even though I come with 0 years of experience in data analytics and I'm competing with folks who had, let's say, 7 to 10 years of experience in data analytics, how would I still be an asset for the firm, or why should they even give me a chance? Those are the areas, gray areas, where they need help, because that is exactly what they're struggling with when it comes to transitioning, right? And the third aspect is, learning a programming language or a software, or becoming more technologically agile. Those are the three areas where they necessarily need guidance or direction and a roadmap. The rest, definitely at the end of the day, has to be taken care of by the candidate, irrespective of their age or years of experience. But I think that's the journey that I am on with them when it comes to these category of folks. And yeah, I think apart from that, there aren't too many specific, I think, challenges that they face, but it's majorly just being able to convince the recruiter on the other side of the table that they should be given a chance, because it would be wrong if I wouldn't say this, that people are very judgmental when somebody is making a career switch, irrespective of their years of experience. And it's very difficult for people to trust you and even give you that one chance. And that is why they are also fearful. And that's why, like you said, it takes guts to be able to do that after doing something for 10 to 15 years of your life.
Absolutely. And when it comes to, convincing the person on the other side of the table, in this scenario, the recruiter, how effective do you think a full-fledged master's degree is going to be? Versus perhaps doing a short upskilling or a certification course. If someone has done a full-fledged master's degree, which I believe comes along with a lot of practical hands-on experience as well, because you do a lot of projects in that. So does that help you think for a career switch?
Yeah, actually, that's a very, very good question as well. I'll answer this with an example, right? Now, when we look at upskilling courses, or we look at just upskilling in general, right? What you're essentially doing is you're going through a short period of, again, learning, unlearning, and trying to learn something that you have no experience in or want to gain that skill. Now, that would come in the form of doing a 15-minute course, a 15-day course, or taking up an entire master's program, or doing an MBA degree, right? On what factors do you make that choice also matters a lot. But I'll tell you one thing. When a candidate comes in and says that, you know what, I did this course, which was, let's say, 2 months long. It was completely online. And these are the skills that I've learned. I built like a basic project as well. And here is what I have to show to you. Versus another candidate who is looking to transition in their career, has no experience in that field, but has done an entire core, I would say, master's degree, or has gone through a proper MBA program of 2 years, right, or a master's of 2 years. And then they've gone through all the hard, rigorous curriculum, core subjects, built capstone projects, maybe done internships in that field as well, gained some industrial training experience also from industry-relevant professionals, and been there and done that. It does have some difference, right? I mean, even if I would want to say it could work or it's comparable, unfortunately, it's not, because somebody was given 2 years to that one core domains. It's a specialization. So to justify that reason, if you show investment of time, money, and effort, all three, into something like a master's or a specialization degree or an MBA, it just goes on to show the commitment you have towards that new career you want to move to, is what I feel. And then it builds a stronger profile and a credential when you're sitting in an interview and you have something more solid to showcase.
Because like you very rightly mentioned, they will have to invest their time, money, effort, all of that. And then that is why all the time they're looking for some sort of a guarantee that this is going to give me the outcome that I have set out myself for. Which ultimately we are talking about jobs, right? Because they have invested money, they definitely would want a return on this investment. So, I also interact with quite a few students of all the three categories that you talked about earlier. And that is the most common question that we receive. What is the guarantee that I'm going to get a job after this master's degree? And I often tell them that even Howard will not be able to give you a guarantee. Job guarantee is not a concept which runs anywhere outside
of.
Right. That's the main difference. But then if we are not giving them guarantee, what other factors these students should be working on in order to develop that guarantee for themselves? One thing that you already talked about is if you are going for a full-fledged master's degree, you are showing some sort of commitment. And if you have survived a master's degree, which is not going to be easy, that's also where you're showcasing that you will be able to deliver in the organization if you get recruited. What else, in your opinion, can be leveraged for them to carve that path to a job for themselves, and not just a job, but a dream job?
Right. No, I think, yeah, again, a very relevant question and something that I get asked quite often. Like you said, I mean, there's nothing that can be guaranteed, I feel. Now, when you talk about how you can make yourself job ready enough, or let's say make your own profile and I would say your capabilities as an individual enough for you to get recruited in the job market, irrespective of whether you're getting a job guarantee or not, I feel there are three things, right? The first one is your ability to be able to build a good resume or a CV. If your CV is not rightly aligned to that particular job role, to that particular industry, domain, and specifically that company you're applying to, and it's not professional enough, it's not going to make it to the cut, right? Now, when you apply for an investment banking job versus a data analyst job versus a software engineering job or a prompt engineering job today, there are so many domains today, you are going to have to craft your CV very differently. And when you will apply for a data engineering role at, let's say, Microsoft versus you'll apply for a data engineering role at Google, same role, two different companies, you'll still have to cater to two different needs because job descriptions are different, company expectations, goals, values are different, right? So that's step one. The second thing that you can do is build an online presence and a digital presence beyond your CV or resume, right?
Like a LinkedIn.
Your LinkedIn profile, professional networking platforms like LinkedIn, I would say today, even Quora. I think Quora and LinkedIn stand out as two very strong professional networking platforms wherein you can hold your ground and build that authority for yourself even before somebody coming in and telling you this is an opportunity. You can create opportunities for yourself. And I see that with a lot of confidence because it's taken me 3 years to get to wherever I am in terms of a presence or following or whatever on LinkedIn, right? Whether it was getting internships, whether it was networking with professionals I never thought I could even interact with, whether it's being able to create an income stream as a student while studying, or so many other things, right? Reach out to recruiters coming up every month and giving me job offers, even when I was not looking for a job, because I was actively creating relevant content on LinkedIn, putting myself out there and telling them, this is what I can do. This is what I bring to the table. This is my skill set. And if they see it in you, they will reach out. So I think having a good optimized LinkedIn profile.
Absolutely. We strongly believe in all these pointers, and this is what we have been advising our students who are also dreaming for studying abroad as well. But having said that, let me also mention it's very easy for the students to underestimate the value or, how effective all these things that you talked about. And I must mention here for all the people who are watching this right now, that we work with really good universities when it comes to study abroad. And when I call them really good, one thing which is extremely common in all our university partners is they all are offering career assistance, really effective career assistance, which results into a really 90% plus employment rate from all the university partners we have. What they do exactly what Harriet just talked about. They really pay that close attention to your CV. And like Harriet, you mentioned that this is the starting point for you. But apart from all the things that you mentioned, Harriet, are there any other soft skills that you recommend that students should work on so that when they are getting that opportunity of interview with a job recruiter, they are able to present their profile in the best and the optimum manner?
Yeah, sure. I feel life skills and the right life skills that people will hone and build on will be the folks who will sustain, and they'll be the leaders of tomorrow. Because I'll tell you, with GPT-3, GPT-4, ChatGPT, Adobe Firefly, and all kinds of tools that you can think of. Now, GPT-5 also coming in. If most of the redundant, repetitive, technical, code writing, or creative tasks, all of them will be done by a machine, then I would say the USP that a human being or a human asset or an employee will still be able to bring to the table is or are their communication skills, their people skills, their ability to be emotionally intelligent, to understand emotions of their team members, of their bosses, of their managers, of stakeholders, of clients, and be able to bring everybody on board on the same page when there's a conflict, a resolve conflict. To be able to negotiate well, to be able to pitch well. I think these are going to be the skills, the future skills, because no robot, no machine, no software, no chat GPT can come and replicate that. So I think these are the skills that will help you stand out, or your ability to negotiate and pitch, your presentation skills. So I feel these would be the set of soft skills that will be very necessary to equip yourself with going forward if you want to navigate the job market and land your dream jobs.
So, there, how do I showcase these when I'm attending a job interview? How do I showcase that I have great conflict resolving skills or great written communication skills? How do I make my recruiter believe in me that I do possess all of this?
Right. Again, I think
talking about the work culture, all these students that currently we are keeping it context are Indian students, and they are trying to move to US for education, and then most of them are also trying to work in the US to gain some experience. Now, talking about the work culture, I believe it is extremely different when it comes to work culture in India versus work culture in US. What would you advise these students in terms of adapting to that work culture? First of all, what do you see as difference, and how difficult or easy it is for them to adapt to the other work culture?
Right. No, there's certainly a difference. The understanding of a company and your immediate manager or boss with respect to, respecting your personal life, personal commitments, and the fact that you are in a job is far more mature as compared to in India. Let me put it that way, for a better lack of word.
You may call it
more than work-life balance. I feel that because they are themselves, I mean, the bosses and the CEOs themselves are so aware and conscious about giving enough time to their physical, mental well-being, and to being able to, let's say, give enough time to their personal life in general. That's why I also feel there is more productivity when in employees outside. It's not that they're different human beings. They have no superhuman powers. The outcome of step one, or the first thing I mentioned, is that people are more productive by default, because they know that their personal time, personal life is being respected for. So they make sure that the 9 hours, 10 hours that they're in office, or 8 hours they're in office, they get as much work as possible done, and they meet their deadlines quicker without having to be nudged or nagged on. Right. The third thing that I've seen, which is very, very unique, is that I feel that in the US, when it comes to, again, work culture and responsibilities, people are extremely okay with, changing departments, working with cross-functional teams, or making a department shift within the company as well, which is more difficult in India, for sure. I'm not saying it's not possible. So I feel these three things stand out the most for me when it comes to differences. Obviously, there are a lot more in Japan.
We were talking about education all this while, and I do know that you do help students get into top universities as well. You help them with the application process and how they should be showcasing their best profile to the university. So, what are those key pointers that one should be taking note of when they are selecting the university for themselves?
Great question. I really feel that when it comes to choosing a university, I don't think it should start with choosing a university. Let me put it this way. Um, when you've identified you have an interest in a certain area or subject per se, or a domain, whatever you want to call it. Now, whether that's business analytics for you, or just data science for you, or it's AI and ML, the moment you know that, okay, I'm interested and intrigued by this, and I'd like to spend the next 2 years doing this, rather than concentrating on which university to pick first and which country to pick first, I feel the course or the program should be researched on first. It's reverse engineering. I think you should go from the course and the program to then the university, and then the country by default gets selected. Unless you have some hard stops and you're very held bound on the fact that you want to study in a particular country. You can also start from the fact that, okay, no, I know, I see my future in the US. I want to settle down there. You're very clear. Your thought process is there. Then great. Now, within US also, but I would recommend first choose the course and the program and then pick the university. Even though it may not be an Ivy League college, but there may be a different college in the US which has a higher rank in terms of the overall prospects and the way you will be valued in the job market once you're done with the degree, right? Do good research in the alumni network that you will get access to. Try and speak to folks and students who have already passed out in the previous year or maybe just 2 years ago, and try and understand that what was their experience like, right? But then try and map if everything that they've gone through and experienced and what they've been able to achieve is something you envision yourself to be in, right? Or is that something that aligns with your expectation? And I feel when you're also choosing a university, people may not think this is important, but I feel when you choose a university, you indirectly are choosing a country as well. And when it comes to moving to a different country from India, you don't just adapt to a new way of learning, right? And a different a cultural shift, but you also have to adapt to new climates, new ways of living. Um, a lot of, I would say, discomfort is what studying abroad brings with it, and people don't talk about that aspect. Discomfort is the word, and a lot of times you might think that the process is very lonely as well, and the journey is lonely. So it's very important to be able to find the right university wherein all of this will not become as difficult, but it'll at least ease out the process for you. And you'll only know that when you speak to folks who have passed out of that university and you do your university research well, you do the program or the course curriculum research very well. Because when these three things will be in tandem and you will know that this aligns with what you're looking for as an outcome, after 2 years, then automatically everything else will fall in place and the journey will become easier, if not, I would say, fairly simple.
Correct. Like you very rightly mentioned, the curriculum should align with your career goals. And also, you talked about the discomfort that study abroad should be mentally prepared before they jump into it. And I've seen dozens of students who just jump into it because everybody else is doing it. So our counselors also make them aware of what the kind of path which lies ahead. And at this moment, Tharia, I must also tell you that we have study abroad programs available even in hybrid format. Now, when I say hybrid format, that means that the first year of the program or first few months or let's say a few credits of the program can be done in an online fashion in a cohort-based setting. It's not like that you are doing it in a self-paced manner. You're going to be part of a cohort and you are learning with a bunch of other folks. And after that, you move to the campus. So what happens in discomfort that you were talking about, and especially that loneliness? In our program's case, these students, especially the younger ones, they are studying within a cohort, within the comfort of their home or their home country rather. They are getting adapted to the pedagogy, which is different from their Indian education. They are getting adapted to what is expected out of them in the program in terms of assessment and projects and all of that. And also, a master's degree is always different from a bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degree, a lot of stuff is done for you. But master's degree, you need to take a lot of proactive steps. That is why when they move to the campus, they're better prepared. they are not going alone. They are going along with the entire cohort. So they already are carrying a few friends along with them, and that also helps them finding the right accommodation, and they would have already gotten accustomed to the learning format, like I mentioned. So we do have those options also, and a lot of students are making use of it, especially working professionals who do not have to quit their jobs immediately.
Jobs, yeah.
Yeah, and
I think that's very interesting, and they can still continue being able to, let's say, financially, sustain and be able to support their families or whatever responsibilities they have while upskilling. I think that's very interesting, and I'm sure that it certainly helps folks also make that transition in a better way, because, like you said, then that discomfort is at least relieved in a way when you're being able to do it in the hybrid mode.
Right. Also, when they apply for the universities, we were talking about that earlier. I think statement of purpose holds a lot of value. So, how do you guide these students, or do you have any tips and strategies to share with these students? How should they be presenting their persona in an SOP, or one goal SOP?
Right. No, I think, when it comes to statement of purpose, I think it is the make or break in your application. I always say that, because I feel, why your grades, your test scores, your CV, some other external essays, also extra essays that you may write, and everything else that you may do is equally important, probably, if not less or more. When it comes to a statement of purpose, the reason why it's a make or break is you're essentially getting that one shot to tell the university that this is the course curriculum and the program in your university that I am aiming for, or I want to bang and, kind of get admitted into. This is my entire profile, skill set, characteristics, and everything I aspire to do in the future and have done. And now you see that how these two fit in and gel in well, and where the alignment is. You're essentially putting all of that across in an entire SOP. That's the essence of the crux of it. Now, whether you do that through an essay, because some universities will ask you to write your SOP as an essay, some of them will present to you a questionnaire or questions of sorts, and you have to answer specific questions. Irrespective of the two situations, the way you're able to present everything, right, from your personal background, family history, basic financial conditions, and, what kind of a financial background you come from, talking about your academic background, your educational degree, and whatever you've done in the past, you're talking about what has built and developed your interest in this domain and brought you to this point today that you're applying to a university, to talking about that university in particular, their course or program that they're offering, and how this blends in really well with what you are aspiring to do. And that statement has to be so personal to you. I'll tell you, the difference between a good SOP and a SOP is that a good SOP, number one, is not concentrating on adding everything and anything that there is to know about you. You don't need to. But in fact, adding only the most relevant things and the most valuable things that will create an impact for that university and program that you're applying to in that university, specific to the course. But a lot of times the tone becomes very casual and very, very too friendly at times. When you're going in the flow and you're writing an SOP and you're talking about your personal life and so many other aspects. And because I also say that it's great to have stories in your SOP, right? Instances, anecdotes. So when you're writing anecdotes, stories, and instances, a lot of times the tone becomes too casual. So being mindful of having that balance, I would recommend you to have a authentic SOP, even if you're seeking out for help. Like, students come to me and get their SOPs edited from me, but I never write the SOP for them from scratch. I don't encourage that. While I can do it, I can do it. But I always collect all the information, go through the first draft of the SOP is and has to be written by them. Because of the base and the crux and the essence and the emotion itself is not coming from them, I cannot help you. I can help you refine it, edit it, get better with the grammar, the sentence structuring, and articulation, right? And I can tell you what's missing and what can be added. But I always encourage students to write their own SOP, at least the first draft, and then go out and seek for help for making it more polished and refined.
Right. In fact, our admissions team, we have a team which is exclusively for document verification and SOP verification. They exactly do the same thing. So what we do is, just like you said, we encourage students to write their own SOP although we would share with them what are the elements which are important in an SOP. And after they have written their first draft, we will also review it and we will share the feedback with them, very active feedback, which is going to be obviously mentioning all the red flags, if there are any, and also, like you mentioned, the articulation and what is missing, how it can be further enhanced. All those feedbacks will be shared. Sometimes these feedbacks are like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. But then, yeah, it's very, very important. Like you said, I completely agree with you that these students draft, because it's a lifetime decision, first of all, right? To go for a master's degree, that too abroad, spending so much, and you're not going to do it again. So it's really, really important that they engage in the entire process, not just outsource the entire thing to someone else to do it. Wonderful. One is the number of students that we meet these days. Many of them are looking for STEM degree programs, of course, because of the career opportunities that one can avail after a STEM degree program, including the OPT period in USA that gets extended to 3 years if you have a STEM degree. But how do you see career opportunities for students who are looking for some good return on investment? Should they be choosing STEM degree programs, or how is it running out of the world as of today?
Yeah, no, I think, again, a very, very relevant question. And I think when you look at STEM as a, entire domain in itself, I feel that especially in a country like the US, it is very evident whether you look at statistics or you look at data. Most of the high-paying jobs that graduates are getting after their master's programs in the US lie within the STEM field, right? More so over in the data, AI, ML space, right? So also I think there's this data point from the US Department of Education which said that the number of programs that were registered, as STEM certified in graduate management education have increased to about 65% in the past 3 to 4 years itself, right? From 2017 to 2020, right? So because of the advancement and everything happening in these core, I would say cities, whether it's New York or it's Michigan or it is, for instance, any other major city like California, Seattle, Boston, all of them seem to be, the hubs wherein technical innovation is at the core of everything. Because of which scientists, prompt engineers, like I said, this new field that's come in all together, data scientists, data engineers, big data engineers, AI ML engineers, and anybody who's doing anything, I think, at the intersection of STEM, right, all together, wherein you have mathematics coming in, you have engineering, you have technology, and you have science, is bound to have 10x more job opportunities and better job prospects. And I think this will remain the case at least for the next 10 years to come, even with the recession, the job market, economic hits, whatever is coming in. Because these set of folks, especially when they come in from a computer science background and then do like a specialization degree in a niche field, they have shown consistently year after year better job offers, better opportunities, and they're able to also make better job switches after their first job in the US.
So I would need your help over here to define how capstone project is different from the projects that you do under your bachelor's degree. Also, in addition to capstone project, there is also something called as business consulting project and experience, right? So what is the difference between the two, and how effective these mechanisms are for you to gain the relevant experience to showcase in a job?
See, I'll tell you, when it comes to a capstone project versus any normal project, the foremost and the basic difference between the two is that when you build a project in college, whether it's an undergrad degree or whatever in India, most of the times you're not solving for a real-time problem. You're not working on a real data set. You're not working on an issue that that is relevant in the market as much as it is in a capstone project. For example, if you're building a capstone project if you're doing a master's in data analytics, since we've been taking that example, a capstone project when you are doing a master's in data analytics will be very comprehensive and extensive. It will be at least for 6 months to even a year in some universities. Second thing is you will actually be implementing or solving for a real-time problem, right? Which means that you will be working on it from day one, from scratch, right? From just understanding what the core problem statement is to being able to execute everything end to end, whether that requires software capabilities, hardware capabilities, both, or requires you to work on one specific area or domain. So capstone projects will require you to be to have a lot more work to be put in, right? You will have to be involved a lot more, and the duration is slightly lengthier. So it's a capstone project, on the other hand, is done only with the intention of making sure that everything that you've learned in this course curriculum and everything else that you've done is now put to use in the real world, so that the transition for you becomes very simplified. And in fact, the capstone project acts like a mini portfolio for you to get like a head start into the job market. That's what it represents. It's like, okay, this is the teaser to my, main film. And if people like the teaser, which is if they feel that the capstone project has substance that may contribute to you being a good asset in the job market, then recruiters will take you seriously, because capstone projects in technical fields are extremely, extremely critical, crucial, and hold a lot of weightage in terms of university credits as well.
Right, absolutely. And then we also have business consulting projects and experience. So in my opinion, business consulting projects go one step ahead, when you get to interact with the client organization. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please go on.
Right. No, I think I'll just add one line to it. I think with business consulting projects, like you said, it's just one tiny step, even the more further, that now you're not just solving for a real problem and building it and applying your skills, but you're also doing it for a real-time client, putting your skills to test and seeing, now analyzing that what you learned, what you applied, and if you apply it in the real world, is there still a gap? It's a great way to understand how far you've come, what do you still lack, and then work on it to be able to also land better jobs and to build your profile better. Because when you do a business consulting project, you're essentially acting as a middleman for them and solving a problem for a client, right? Using your skill set, whatever skill set it is that you have, because you have real-time client interactions, real-time meetings, there are demos that you will be giving them, or you'll be, making tweaks and integrations in the product and making customizations for them. Technically, when you're in a technical field, what you'll actually learn is different nuances that you may not have covered when you just built a capstone project. Because real-time challenges, when you will cater to, you'll actually understand the true essence of what you've learned in those 2 years.
Thank you so much, Dhairya, for
My pleasure.
You have a lot of patience. That's true. That. Thank you so much for your time and sharing all the insights. You are truly an inspiration, and I'm sure that people who are watching this are definitely going to be inspired and may also reach out to you for any assistance if they are looking for in their career. Otherwise, Great Learning is always there to help you guys, and especially when it comes to your study abroad aspirations, reach out to us, our counselors, and we will be able to help you. Doesn't matter whether you're a fresher, you are a mid career professional, or you are an experienced 15 years plus career professionals. We have a solution suiting to your career requirements. We have a solution for you. So thank you once again, Dhairya, and thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Shweta, for being a lovely host, for asking such intriguing and interesting questions. I really hope that students and everybody who tunes in to this conversation can take some insights out of it. And thank you so much, Great Learning, for having me over. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.